I will be doing a full driving review of a 2023 Wrangler Rubicon 4XE. I will do some around town driving, a little bit of what you can kind of consider city driving, highway driving, and a little bit of a rugged terrain at our new Hyundai facility's construction site. So, let's go on the road. First thing I can say, as soon as putting the car in drive, this is one of the smoothest rides I've personally ever driven, and that's because of it being a 4XE Wrangler. Having that plug-in hybrid ability, that's what gives you that extremely smooth and comfortable ride. You can definitely feel that it has that classic Jeep style suspension, because this car is still built as it can go on the off-road. Is when you're accelerating, like the way that the car accelerates when you hit the gas pedal, that is unbelievably smooth. The steering, it's got a little bit of a nice tight feel to the steering going around these slight turns. I'm someone who I like tight steering. That's something that I really enjoy. Coming off the pedal, you can feel that regen braking, I believe is what it's called. You just come off the gas and the car really does start to slow down on its own. And that is something that is really cool about plug-in hybrid electric vehicles and full electric vehicles. We are approaching our Hyundai construction site, so we're about to turn in. And honestly, I gotta say, since the last time I was here, there's a good amount of work done. But here we are, and this is gonna be that little bit of that rugged terrain. There's a lot of gravel and rocks in here. It's not as rugged of a terrain as I remembered, but this feels just like a Jeep, like I have remembered them as always. So if you're a Jeep lover and you're scared about what is a 4XE gonna feel like in slightly rugged terrain, like is it still gonna be that same Jeep? Yes, it's still gonna be that same Jeep. The first impression upon driving the 4XE Wrangler was the smoothness when you're hitting the accelerator. It is just unbelievably smooth. Nothing that I felt before in a Jeep, and honestly, nothing that I felt before in a lot of vehicles outside of plug-in hybrids or full electric vehicles. The regen braking upon coming off of the accelerator and the car slows down on itself, that is a really good touch. Now, we're gonna go do some highway driving in the Wrangler Rubicon 4XE. We're gonna hop on I-84 right down the road, take I-84 to the Taconic, to Route 55. We're gonna go stop at Ready Coffee in LaGrange. So let's go. We are now about to hop on 84. Like I said, take 84 to the Taconic. And for those of you who know, right here on the left-hand side in Fishkill, before you get on 84, is the 84 Diner. Great diner. No blind spots, I can tell you that. Looking left over my shoulder to get up onto 84, there's no blind spots, which is a great thing. This Wrangler, getting up to speed on the on-ramp and then on the highway, getting up to 65, it was comfortable getting up to that speed. It wasn't jerky, it wasn't anything, it was just a nice, consistent acceleration getting up to 65. Now that we're here up on the highway, you feel a little bit of that Jeep feel on the highway, but I do have to say, it's a very comfortable ride. This is something that I could see myself and be comfortable in driving on a highway on a daily basis to and from work. The Sky one-touch roof does have a little bit of road noise coming through, like the wind you can hear. I remember when I lost my mind. We are only half a mile away from getting on the Taconic and taking the Taconic up to LaGrange. Something to talk about now, getting off of the highway, that regen braking is phenomenal for getting off onto an off-ramp. Like, that makes it very easy. You know, sometimes you feel like you're coming to a halt, like real fast when you're getting off the highway, but that regen braking really makes it nice and linear and smooth. So I was sitting here trying to find the next song I'm going to play for us, and I was a little confused at first because I was trying to hit these arrows on the left side of the steering wheel and they weren't changing the song. So there's these buttons behind the the steering wheel. There's two on each side. They're up and down. So on the left side, if you hit the top button on the left side, that goes to the next song, while the lower button on the left song brings you back to the previous. So that's something good to know. Deep inside of a universe. This Wrangler definitely has a very good sound system. But if you do get to a patch of the road where it seems like it's not completely level side by side, you do feel roll going side by side from left to right. You feel the suspension bouncing a little bit. So that's like a Jeep feel, which obviously any car that is built for off-roading or rugged terrain, that's something that you need. You need that. I think you would consider it like a softness to the suspension. Using the regen braking to turn left at a light, you don't have to take your foot off of the gas pedal and tap on your brake to go a little bit slower through that turn. You just come off the gas and it slows down more than enough to go around a turn for you. This Noxon road, this is a kind of windy back road to give you a little bit of a different opinion of mine than the highway driving. Anytime approaching like a slight bend, slight turn in the road, there's no need to hit the brake pedal. The regen braking takes care of all of it. So I know I've talked about it a lot, but that is the feature that has stood out to me the most by far. I've been dealing with a little bit more of that roll feeling side to side on this back road around town type of scenario, and I still stand by that I will drive this every day. Now we are turning into the parking lot for Ready Coffee. So once I park, we're gonna get out. I'm gonna get myself a coffee. So this is now my short little drive home, and we'll be back tomorrow. So today's the next morning where I get to drive this 2023 Wrangler Rubicon 4XE and give you all a review on it. But some of the stuff that I didn't touch on yesterday that I'm going to touch on right now before I start driving it are some of the specs and the features of the vehicle. So to start off with the specs, more specifically the engine specs, is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine turboed with its battery components. It uses a Garrett turbo, for those of you who know the company Garrett turbos. It pushes out a combined 375 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. The full electric battery range on the car is 22 miles. Its MPGe gets a combined 49. The regular mileage of the car, the gas miles per gallon, the MPG is a combined 20 for city and highway. This is your charging point for your vehicle for the plug-in hybrid components. This is your at-home charger that comes with the vehicle. So you plug this in, where's the plug? To a regular outlet. I can't remember the exact voltage in your house. This does all the work, and then you plug this right in. So that's your at-home charger. Now let's go look at some of the stuff on the inside, but first we'll look at the door handles more specifically. So that's a very common thing, the button to lock and unlock your doors, but that's only for locking your door on the 2023 Wrangler. As soon as you put your hand in the door, it unlocks, so you only have to lock it from the button, which is nice. Because instead of having to hit the button and then open your door handle, you're able to just naturally open your door handle and the vehicle unlocks. So let's hop on into the inside. So it's silent when you first turn it on if it's running off the electric battery, but then it'll kick on to the gas power. But we are sadly out of electric battery range. I'm on 0 miles, less than 1%. So this is your touchscreen display. Right now I have it set up where it's on Apple CarPlay, but this is your navigation. So that's if you were to log into a destination of where you want to go. And if you just want to view the map, that's what your map will look like. I like it. It's not a very bright map in your face. It's a very dull looking screen. And this screen is, I don't want to say matte because matte's not the right term, but instead of being like shiny when the sun hits it, it's very dull, so you really don't lose visibility of the screen. You could change all your climate controls from the screen rather than having to press the buttons down here. You could do it all from the screen, which includes, if I can remember correctly, yes, your heated seats and your heated steering wheel you could also do from the control if you don't want to do it from the buttons down here. All the apps on your vehicle, same thing. There's your heated seat, your passenger heated seat, your backup camera, off-road pages, Wi-Fi hotspot, travel link, notifications, heated steering wheel, mirror dimmer, nav, other controls. So you could do basically all of it from this one screen. This is if you want regen braking to be on, which I highly recommend. That will obviously, regen braking regenerates your battery life if you've run out. And it's also extremely comfortable. I like the way that it slows the car down as soon as you come off the gas. I think it is amazing. Here, this is where you will plug in your phone if you want to use it with Apple CarPlay, or even if you just want to charge it. I will always recommend to use USB-C. They charge faster than the USB-A's. Your auxiliary cord, all your window buttons are here on the center, and that's like that on all Jeeps, because obviously you could take the doors off, so it would be silly to have them on the doors, so that would be too much wiring to go to your doors when you're trying to take it off, so they always have them on in the middle. This right here is your front and rear locking differentials. You can lock and unlock them if you're doing some off-roading and some other, whatever other driving conditions you can think of. This you can disconnect the sway bars if you're going up on like a big rock and your tires need to be like very lifted off the ground. You can disconnect your sway bar links. This is your four-wheel drive controls. Looking over here, this is what is having your hybrid components on while you're driving, that you can, if you wanted to go to full electric driving. This, your gas door, which is also on the rear left side, you have to pop open from the inside. This is if you want to save electric battery life. As I was talking about yesterday, to change your song, there are two buttons back here. The top one goes forward, the back one goes to the previous song, and then the same buttons on this side to go up on volume and to go down on volume. So those are the basic features. Obviously something that is fantastic that we're gonna watch again is that Sky One Touch roof that gives you that open air Jeep feel with just one touch of the button. Now your whole roof is open. Right now I'm gonna go stop at Ready Coffee again. So before we go anywhere, plug my phone in. Apple CarPlay is also a very safe thing, especially if you're buying a car for your kids. It really allows them to keep their eyes on the road and here at all times, rather than them looking down at their phone and trying to text. So Apple CarPlay, in my opinion, is not only is it a nice feature to have just because it looks nice, but it is a safety feature in my opinion, really. Before we drive, I am gonna close this roof up. It'd be hard for you to hear me. It's gonna mess up my hair even more than it already is. My hair is still a little wet. So we're off. For those of you who don't know, which I'll actually show you later, all Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram products have by far, in my opinion, the clearest resolution backup camera that you can get on the market. This is the only Ready Coffee that you can go inside of. That's the only one. The one in Wappingers on Route 9 and the one in Newburgh off of I-84. Those are just like a, if you want to call them a parking lot coffee, where it's just a drive-through or a walk-up window. One thing I learned with the Apple CarPlay, if you have a system update, make sure you hit the set time for it or the Apple CarPlay won't work. So this Uconnect did indeed have a system update going on that it needed to do. But that once I hit set time and set it for tomorrow morning, the Apple CarPlay was about to turn back on. The reason why I'm dressed a little nicer today than I was yesterday is we have a podcast that we are working on here at Healy. It's going to be called the HB Podcast. Some of them we have interviewed some employees. The last episode and this current one is me and Jason Healy. We speak on really what Healy, like what sets us apart. We had talked about the different online tools we have, like our Reserve Now, which will hold a vehicle for 72 hours. So if you wanted to reserve this 2023 Wrangler Rubicon 4XE, you could do so online, and we'll hold it for 72 hours without selling it on you. You don't have to worry. You can take 2-3 days to come into our store after you reserve it, and this vehicle will 100% be there for you. You do not have to worry about that. We also have, once you do the Reserve Now, you can even fill out your credit application online if you want to save some time when you get it, or you even have the ability to purchase the car fully online. That is a new thing. So we spoke on those. We spoke about our KBB Instant Cash Offer, that we have a partnership with Kelley Blue Book to give you an instant cash offer on your vehicle, so you know you can get your trade-in, but you don't even have to just trade it in. We'll buy from you even if you're not purchasing one of our cars. We will buy it from you. We spoke on our scheduling service. We talked about our maintenance plans. When you purchase a vehicle, you can purchase one of our maintenance plans. They're a Healy Brothers maintenance plan. It's either blue, silver, or gold. Blue comes with 4, silver comes with 6, gold comes with 10. You can save anywhere between $120 to $500. Actually, it's over $500 on your services when you buy one of our maintenance plans. And you don't have to use it just on this 2023 Wrangler. You can use it on any vehicle in your household, even if some of those vehicles weren't purchased from us at Healy. But now talk about this Wrangler again. I'm coming down a hill. The regen braking is awesome coming down hills. I really like it. I'm approaching a stoplight, and I'm a huge fan of this regen braking. I've talked about it a lot, but for those of you who are really wondering if a plug-in hybrid is the vehicle for you, I would say it could be the vehicle for anybody. This whole trip out to, because I am going back to our Chrysler store, I didn't mention that, this whole trip back will be all like little, if you want to say, back road, in-town, city driving. No highway driving today for me on our way back to our Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram location in Beacon, New York. It's a really brand new facility. We redid the whole service center, our waiting room, so we have a massive shop now. We have an area where it's three or four, if you want to say, like lube lifts, so that can get you in and out even faster when you're getting an oil change done. So our Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram location is beautiful. So if you're in the market for a Wrangler, definitely come get service done with us as well. You'll be impressed with our new service facility. Driving around town, around some of these windy parts of Vassar Road, you don't have to hit your brakes. The regen braking is phenomenal on the car. The steering wheel is a very soft leather, that I didn't mention on. It's a very soft leather, so it's really comfortable to keep your hands on.
Can I get an encore? Do you want more? Cook and roll with the Brooklyn boys. So for one last time, I need y'all to roll.
Yesterday I had played the music on volume 15, that was volume 20. It's very loud. It has a really loud sound system, which is a good thing. I'm not saying that is a bad thing. The sound system is phenomenal in this Jeep. So I can only imagine if you're in the summertime, you put back the Sky One Touch roof, you get your roof is fully open to the elements, you take your doors off, you take those rear quarter panels off, you put the rear window up, you got fully all open feel, and you're just blasting music. I know some of the speakers are behind my head somewhere. I can't remember exactly where they are, but some of them are behind my head. I don't know all of the locations of the speakers. I think some of them are up here actually. So I'm not 100% sure where all locations of the speakers are, but they're not in the doors like normal vehicles are, because what are you going to do when you take the doors off in the summertime? Then you got no music. One thing that's a great view, looking at like the Rubicon hood, is you see the hood vents, you see the nice stripe down the middle of the hood. It's a very aggressive look that you're looking out on. Like that was a little sewer grate, not a pothole, but a little sewer grate in the road, or a manhole grate, whatever it was exactly. The suspension on this Wrangler Rubicon 4XE takes that very well. In my sedan that I drive, it's a bit bumpy when it hits those in the road, but the Wrangler takes that very well, very, very well. Let's see what the full volume is on the car, because I was playing it on 20 and that was really loud. I'm curious on what the top number is. That top number is 38. We're on a little bit of a straightaway here on 9D, so I'm going to try and give the car a little bit of throttle, but not a lot, because I don't want to really go over the speed limit. But let's see what that is like. So that actually is a very good pickup. That was more than I expected. It does have 375 horsepower, which is a really good horsepower figure, but really that throttle response right there, a lot of that came from that 470 pound-feet of torque. That's where a lot of that came from. That jump up first was from that high torque number. And with that high torque number, I should have looked up for you guys, which I will when I get to Healy Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, when I get to our store and I drop it off, I will look up the maximum towing capacity for you all, because that's what I should have looked up after seeing that high torque number. So that is my trip in this beautiful 2023 Wrangler Rubicon 4XE. If you were worried about is it comfortable on everyday driving on the highway? Is it comfortable around town? Is the hybrid components going to make me like driving it less? To answer all of those questions, it is 100% comfortable for everyday driving on the highway. The only thing you kind of feel is a little bit of roll side to side, but the suspension itself is extremely comfortable on the highway. Around town driving is even more comfortable because of that regen braking. You barely have to use your brakes at all. Obviously, you do have to use them to stop completely. Please do not just think you can just stop without braking. It slows it down for the most part. What I realize is it basically slows it down to 4 miles per hour, and it'll roll at 4 miles per hour then. But when you're coming around bends and stuff around town, and a little bit of a back road driving, coming around those slight bends or turns in the road, you don't have to worry about touching your brake pedal. The regen braking will do it. Even if it's a slightly sharp turn in the road, your regen braking will take care of that. And will the hybrid components make you not like this car? No, you're gonna like it even more, because of one thing is that regen braking. When you first turn the car on, it's quiet. The throttle response of the vehicle is amazing with those hybrid components. It's very linear. It's not like a very jerky acceleration of the vehicle. It's very linear. So please do not worry at all about if the hybrid components are going to make you like this car any less. It's phenomenal. I think you're gonna love it. One thing, let me search up right now, since we're stopped, what is the maximum towing capacity? The maximum towing capacity of the 2023 Jeep Wrangler 4XE Rubicon is 3,500 pounds. So that this vehicle is more than capable for handling a pretty high payload. If there's any other vehicles that you can think of that you are interested in, obviously, we have Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram products here, but we also have Ford store. We have, well, 2 Ford stores. We have 2 Chevy locations. We have Lincoln. We have Hyundais. We have Kia. We have Mitsubishi. So we have all these different brands. If you could think of any car that you're interested in, from an Elantra to an Outlander to a Corsair to an F-150 Platinum, to a Chevy Trailblazer, anything that you have slight interest in, I will give you a full review on that car, my full honesty. It'll be the same thing. I'll drive it around town, I'll drive it on back roads, I'll drive it on the highway, I'll show you the technology in the car. I will give you a full review to help you make your purchase of your next vehicle as effortless as possible, because you should enjoy purchasing a car. But that's it. That's the review. I actually almost forgot to show all of you is the clarity of the reverse camera, or backup camera, whatever you want to call it. That clarity is truthfully unreal. Obviously the lines move when you move the steering wheel, but that is by far one of the clearest backup cameras you will see on the market.